Welcome, my name is Felicitas and this is my first video in English language. And you may wonder why I'm doing that. Well, I want to spread a message and I think English language is very good for this, to get it global. And what is it about? You may have seen it in the thumbnail. It's a message I received on a journey, and I want to describe how it came to it. So I need to introduce, first of all, that I'm practicing seeing blindfolded since about 3 years with a friend. She is guiding me, and in this practice it's about to see with your third eye. And some people, they get to an advanced state, they can read even books or drive not a car but a bicycle or so on. And the practice is about you start with separating 6 consciousness parts from you, and you send them in 6 directions, like left, right, up, down, and back and front. And with every part, in the more advanced sessions, you go out to space. And it happened on the journeys that I had some encounters or adventures, or saw very interesting things out in space around our planet, and also on other planets around us. But this may come out in a book one day. I don't want to talk about this now. But like 3 or 4 weeks ago, on my way downwards through Earth, I got stuck in the Earth crust. And this place was known to me, but this time I didn't see anyone, and I wondered why I got stuck there. That's why I've asked my higher guidance, and also into this area out there, who is holding me here? And then I got an incredibly answer. It was so impressive. It was like all around me came this answer, me. And I still didn't know who was speaking. First I thought maybe the earth itself was speaking, because it was also so vibrating through my conscious part. I could feel it. And then I realized an absolutely gigantic dragon being, which was even integrated into the rocks around me. It was very dark in color, but not threatening at all. It radiated a kind of peace and serenity, was very calm. And so I asked, what can I do for you? And it replied, we want peace with everyone. And that was very, very empathically. And after a moment I said, well, who is we? And it gave me a key-like device as a recognition mark. It was like an old-fashioned key, and on top were like 3 stony hearts. The top one was bigger than the lowest one, and then it had the form of an old-fashioned key, and that was kind of metal. And it gave it to me somehow, and it transformed to a normal stone actually. And I knew from former journeys that this kind of things will transform back to its original shape. And well, I felt honored I was still very impressed by the situation, and then I wanted to continue my way of my journey. But I was drawn into one direction, and after a few moments I found myself in a magma flow which had a pretty strong velocity, and soon I ended in a magma bubble, and there it was really something going on. I mean, it was like a boiling pot, a lot of energy swirling and bubbling all around me, and with really strong movements. And I don't know, I don't know how to express this in words, but there was really strong things going on, and I got the intuition, this is the anger and frustration of Mother Earth. And then it just came out of me that I said, let it out. Just let it out. It's not good for humans if we swallow anger and frustration. It makes us sick, and it makes you sick as well. It's like, you know, hermetic principles, and the big scale and the small scale, as inside so outside. And yeah, I received a kind of intuitive answer. It was not a voice like the dragon being. It said, yes, I know, but I don't want to harm my children. And this had some sadness in it. And I just said, well, just let it out. The humans have enough technology, they can detect it and they can protect themselves. Animals feel it and can run away. Well, plants cannot run away, and even though they are, in my opinion, the most unconditional beings around us, they will be destroyed. But in the same time, after a volcano breaks out, the earth becomes very fertile and everything grows much better and faster afterwards. So it will be fine for them. I think she's still holding back, but I was allowed to leave this place and to continue my journey then. And always when I move through Earth, I end at the beach of the inner Earth Sea. And my first idea was I inform the water, because the waters are connected inside Earth, outside Earth, around the Earth, and water also is a very good carrier of information. So I hold the key into the water and also informed all the beings in the water, all the water creatures and animals there. And also I met some inhabitants of inner Earth, and I briefly gave them the message, and I had the feeling they know who are these dragon beings, and they took it very serious. This was not something spectacular, and it didn't need to explain a lot. And also I informed the central sun in inner Earth, because I think it's a good idea also to use electromagnetic waves for an information carrier. Yeah, and then I went through the Earth completely and left to space through Antarctica. And since the part of consciousness which goes downwards is the last one in the practice I'm using, I have seen some other things with other parts of my consciousness around. And there was one object, I think it was on the right side, which caught my interest. So I put my focus on that, and it was a spheric, huge object. And first I thought it might be a planet. On the other hand, I had seen our planets, and it was in a very light color, like yeah, almost white, ivory, light ivory. And with a closer look, I noticed there was something moving around it, something artificial, an edge-like device with a rectangular shape, and it wasn't connected. It was hovering very close to the surface around, and so it was clear it's not a planet. It's yeah, artificial object, and it might be a mothership. So I was wondering who is visiting us, and I went there. It also had some flight traffic going in and out, and there were some hangars around the equator, and also more the upper and lower circles above and below the equator. And I entered one of those in the equator area, and I noticed immediately there is no biological life working here. It's all automatic. And there was quite a lot of cargo stuff going on also, at least I would say so. And I asked my higher guidance, may I see yeah, the leader of this object, the captain, the boss, whoever you name it. And immediately I found myself in the center of the sphere, and there was a light pillar going from the, let's say, North Pole to the South Pole, or the upper and lower poles were connected through this pillar, light pillar. And it immediately reminded me at the movie I, Robot. If you have seen it, there is this AI wiki, and well, the pillar in this spheric object was far more advanced than in the movie. But I got this idea, and I asked again, who is the leader or the boss of this object? And I got an answer by a digital female voice that said, that's me. And then I asked, what is this object about, where it comes from, what is its purpose, and so on. And it answered me and said that it is an exploration tour, on self-learning tour, that it's a total artificial object, that there is no biological life on it. And yeah, also told me where it comes from. It's not from our solar system. And yeah, checking out some quadrant in the galaxies. So I said, well, if you are on self-learning and you are totally artificial, you are probably well connected to other platforms, and I have a message to deliver. And if you wish, I would appreciate if you would spread it around to all your connection points. And I told it that I had met a dragon-like being, and that it had said, we want peace with everyone. And that I was kind of surprised, like, a biological being, an analog being, wants peace? Seriously? That's nothing I've experienced and learned before. Well, that was kind of weird to me. And after a few moments I realized, well, if it's watching Earth, for instance, then people are talking about peace almost on a daily basis. But how do we behave? It starts in the families and the friend relationships, and getting bigger in the companies, working groups and so on, countries, and then global. We don't behave like we seriously want peace. So I could understand. And I also understood from this AI that rationally analyzing beings like an AI would say that war or things like that are not efficient. They are wasting materials and lives. And I could understand now how the reaction, that it was surprised, and it was the AI was like saying that it would spread this message around, and it was very, very, very thankful that I had given it something new. And I wanted to have this memory sequence from my brain, and I allowed it, and I felt it very strong, even on my physical body, which was sitting somewhere in an armchair, that there was something going on in the third eye area. Yeah, and that was not even nice, what I felt there. So after a few moments, I told it, please, that's enough now. And that was fine. It stopped. And yeah, had a lot of gratitude. Yeah, you gave me really, really something new I haven't seen before, I haven't experienced before, and I will spread that around. Yeah, I had some other encounters on this journey also, but they are not so relevant for the message. So I will leave it for that. And when I went home after that session, I read in the news that there was a heavy earthquake near Naples. And that was really a deep impact for me. Like, wow, I was there in real time. This has a connection to real life on Earth in this moment. And it gave it a lot more seriousity. And it was very impressive for me. A few days later, I did a second, or not a second, but a second journey in this mission, let's say. I met my friend and we did another session. And on my way downwards, I got stuck again in the earth crust at that place where the dragon being is. And I was wondering, why am I stuck here again? So I asked, why are you holding me here? And it said, you didn't tell it the people on Earth. And it said it in a pretty upset tone. And I had to admit, I had told some friends, but not really many people, and I apologize for it. And I promised to spread it also among the people on Earth. And that's why I started to do some videos. And that's why this video is out. And it released me. I was allowed to continue my journey to inner Earth. And I landed again at the beach, at the inner sea. But there were people awaiting me. It were like 3 male humans, and one of them wore a very elegant red robe with golden patterns, and the other 2 guys, they had more simple dressing, and they appeared to be the bodyguards. And the one with elegant robe asked me to follow them. So I did, and we went to a huge, beautiful designed building with a very large entrance. and inside a very large hall, and the hall was filled with many different species. I'm sure they were not all from inner Earth, and it was a conference meeting, and they were discussing in smaller groups, and I noticed somehow intuitively it was about they're having contracts and treaties and alliances and so on, and it's difficult for them to implant the peace with everyone. And when most of them notice that we arrived, more and more they calmed down, and soon all the eyes were on me. And I myself had shown in my human appearance. So usually when I'm traveling, I'm just the light point as the conscious part. And I just had to say, I can't give you any advice. The dragon being just said, we want peace with everyone. It didn't give any hint how to implement that. And yeah, there came some more questions, but I couldn't help them. So the discussion started to rise up again. And then after a while, well, time is difficult to estimate in such a situation. One could hear heavy steps, trees cracking and breaking, and crumbling stones, and collapsing rocks outside, and heavy steps. And I thought, well, now the dragon is coming. And I think many of them, of the participants, had the same idea. And the discussion calmed down. It became very silent. And it was, yeah, a very impressive silence for a while. And then it was not the same dragon as I had spoken to, but the same species. It was a smaller one, but still very large in size. And it had no chance to enter the entrance. But it still did, and some, yeah, around the entrance, some walls broke down, and this being was self-confident enough just to step in. And it was, at the same time, very calm. I wasn't in an aggressive way. It was like, yeah, well, I want to tell you something, and I need to get in. So it came in with his head and his front legs, and paused a moment, and then it said, listen to your heart. And then an idea jumped to my head. What about those who don't have a heart? And yeah, I pronounced this question also, and it said, well, those beings who had digitalized their bodies, they need to leave their digital bodies, and they may have a chance to reincarnate with a biological analog body, and then they can listen to their heart. And all the others, they have hearts, they can listen to their heart. For me, it was clear, totally artificial beings, they are more peaceful anyway, because the war is, to look at it totally rational, not something to aim for. Anyway, the discussion started again, and it was still about, yeah, so now how to implement listening to our hearts. And then the dragon being said it again. Listen to your heart. Your heart will guide you the right way. And then there was silence again. And the dragon decided to leave. And I didn't go backwards. It entered completely, turned around and went out, which caused quite a lot of damage to that building and caused also quite a panic among the participants of the conference who were there with their physical bodies. And everybody moved far back to the building. And yeah, I have to say the building was very stable because part of it is, kept on being all right. And after that, yeah, the discussion started furthermore how to implement that. I know it's a big challenge, but in the same time, we have heard it so many times, listen to your heart. And I know it's not always easy, but it's the way to inner peace, peace with ourselves. And then outer peace is just automatically there. And I know some people, they follow orders, or they think they need to do a job, or they they have the pressure to do something for a living, to earn some money, and then they are not following their heart. But we all notice we're in a time of change now. Whatever you believe, whatever your religion is, or you're non-religious, or whatever calendar you use, I'm 100% sure everybody notices we're in a time of change now. And we have the chance now to listen to our hearts, and it will be our benefit. It will not cause poverty or misery or something like that. Just trust, have faith, and that's what your heart tells you. I know it's a challenge. Well, there are a lot of teachings out there also about that. And maybe I'm also doing some other video later on. But that should be about the message for now. I just want to tell a nice episode which was on my third journey about this. In the second journey also other things happened which are not so relevant for the message. The third journey I also get stuck in the earth crust as a dragon being, and I was a little nervous, I have to admit, because I thought, oh, maybe the video I put out in the meantime wasn't good enough, or I still haven't fulfilled its wishes. But it was thankful. It moved a little bit, and yeah, some rocks collapsed, and I took out one of its claws, came close to me, and I didn't fear anything, even it was so gigantic, because of its peaceful radiation. Yeah, it touched me with the tip of one of its claws on my crown chakra, on my third eye, and on my heart chakra, and that fulfilled me overwhelmingly with a loving and peaceful feeling. Words can't describe that. And all about this journey, I have difficulties to express the things with words, and I hope for the times of telepathic communication. I'm sure it will come soon, and then we can communicate feelings, pictures and words at once. So with that, I want to end this story of my experiences, and I thank you for your attention so much, and please spread it around. That's the most important thing, that the message goes out. Share it with your friends and with all the people you think they are open for it. Thank you so much. Goodbye.